Urgent, the news about Giannis Antetokounmpo joining the Lakers dropped like a bombshell. Stay until the end to find out everything. But before starting the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important news about the Lakers. A lot has evolved for the Milwaukee Bucks since their title run in 2021, when they defeated the Phoenix Suns to claim their first NBA championship in 5 decades. That squad bears little resemblance to today's iteration. At the heart of that memorable victory stood Greek phenom Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 2-time league MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and a 9-time NBA All-Star. His accolades speak for themselves, and his rise has been nothing short of extraordinary. It was Milwaukee that believed in him when others passed. The Bucks drafted Giannis with the 15th overall pick in 2013, betting on a raw but immensely talented teenager from Greece. Over the years he blossomed into one of the league's most dominant figures, a blend of size, skill and intensity rarely seen in any era. What was once a seemingly unbreakable bond between player and franchise now appears less certain. For years, Giannis publicly dismissed any interest in leaving the Bucks. He reiterated his loyalty time and again, emphasizing his desire to bring continued success to the team that raised him. However, recent reports from respected NBA insider Shams Charania suggest the narrative may be shifting. While no official decision has been made, there are whispers that Giannis is increasingly open to exploring his future beyond Milwaukee. Naturally, this development has sparked rampant speculation across the NBA landscape. Fans and analysts alike have begun to wonder, could one of the game's most impactful players land in a marquee market like Los Angeles? Speaking on the Low Post, NBA writer Howard Beck mentioned a short list of potential landing spots. One of the LA teams, one of the New York teams, maybe Miami, not massive markets in terms of population, but glamorous and appealing in their own way. The idea of Giannis wearing purple and gold is both thrilling and complicated. The Lakers have always represented star power, legacy, and ambition. Pairing Giannis with LeBron James or Anthony Davis, or perhaps both, would instantly make headlines and shift the power balance of the NBA. But there are steep obstacles in the way. As enticing as it sounds, pulling off a trade for a superstar of Giannis' caliber is an enormous challenge, especially for a team like the Lakers who find themselves limited in terms of trade assets. They've already mortgaged much of their future in past deals, and their current roster doesn't offer a wealth of valuable young talent or draft capital to entice Milwaukee. Still, the unexpected happens in the NBA all the time. Just look at the rumors surrounding Luka Doncic not long ago. Many dismissed the idea of him leaving Dallas, and yet trade speculation erupted overnight. In that spirit, the Lakers can never be counted out, especially with a front office known for swinging for the fences. But any dream scenario involving Giannis would also mean confronting the harsh realities of NBA economics. For the Los Angeles Lakers, the dream of adding Giannis Antetokounmpo to their already star-studded roster is as complicated as it is captivating. While the idea of pairing him with NBA icons like LeBron James and Anthony Davis sets the imagination alight, the financial and strategic hurdles they face are daunting. The Lakers, as it stands, are not well positioned to facilitate a major trade. Among NBA franchises, they have one of the slimmest collections of tradable assets. Years of blockbuster moves, including the acquisition of Davis, have depleted their stash of first-round picks and young prospects. Players like Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura have value, but it's questionable whether they would move the needle for a team looking to rebuild around a superstar's departure. What complicates things further is LeBron James' contract, which functions as both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, having LeBron continues to make the Lakers a contender and a commercial juggernaut. On the other, his massive salary, along with Davis's, takes up a significant portion of the salary cap, making any big acquisition exponentially more difficult. Giannis himself is earning north of $48 million per year, and with the Lakers' payroll already hovering around the $200 million mark, adding him would plunge them deep into luxury tax territory. In fact, such a move would trigger not just the luxury tax, but also the second apron, a punitive tier of financial penalties under the NBA's newest collective bargaining agreement. These rules are designed to curb teams from forming super teams by spending unlimited amounts of money. If the Lakers were to breach this limit, they would face restrictions on trades, buyouts, and the use of exceptions, effectively handcuffing their roster flexibility for years to come. That's not to say it's impossible, only that it would require a masterclass in roster engineering. The Lakers would likely have to orchestrate a multi-team trade, offload significant salaries, and possibly part ways with Davis or even LeBron, if he opted out or was included in the package. Even then, it's unclear if the Bucks would be willing to move Giannis without a king's ransom in return, or if Giannis himself would approve such a transition. There's also the question of fit and chemistry. Recent years have taught NBA front offices a sobering lesson: stacking talent doesn't guarantee success. The Brooklyn Nets famously assembled a trio of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, 3 generational talents, only to watch the experiment fall apart under the weight of injuries, egos, and off-court distractions. The Phoenix Suns tried something similar more recently, adding Bradley Beal to a core of Devin Booker and Durant, yet the results have been mixed at best. The era of the Big Three might be over, or at least evolving. Today's game is increasingly about depth, shooting, defensive versatility, and organizational stability. Superstars are still essential, but teams can no longer rely on just a few elite names to carry them through grueling playoff series. The Lakers would need to ask themselves, is it worth gutting the roster for another big name? Or should they build around what they already have, focusing on development and sustainability? There's also the question of timing. LeBron is approaching the twilight of his career and no one, not even him, can outrun Father Time. If the Lakers push all their chips into a trade for Giannis, they would be going all in for perhaps one final title run. If it fails, they could be left with little flexibility and no draft picks to recover. And yet, the allure is real. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not just any player. He's a generational force, capable of anchoring a franchise for the next 5 to 7 years. Few athletes combine his motor, skill set, and leadership. For a franchise like the Lakers, built on legends, the temptation to add another to their lineage may prove too strong to ignore. The NBA offseason is always full of surprises, but when the stakes are this high, it becomes a high-wire act, part strategy, part gamble, and part spectacle. As whispers of a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo departure grow louder, the league stands on the edge of another transformational offseason. Whether it happens this summer or in the next couple of years, the mere possibility of Giannis changing teams has already begun to reshape the NBA's narrative landscape. Fans, media, and front offices are all watching closely, trying to read between the lines and anticipate the next great power shift. If Giannis truly opens the door to relocation, few franchises have both the means and the allure to lure him in. As noted by Howard Beck, the usual suspects dominate the conversation: Los Angeles, New York, and Miami. These cities aren't just large television markets. They represent style, legacy, lifestyle, and championship ambition. Los Angeles, the headline move. The Lakers, despite their roster and cap challenges, remain one of the most iconic brands in sports. The image of Giannis in a Lakers uniform alongside LeBron or as his successor is a marketer's dream, and a competitive threat to every other contender in the league. Even if the logistics are difficult, the Lakers have shown time and again they can bend reality when a superstar is in reach. The question isn't whether they want Giannis, it's how far they're willing to go to make it happen. New York, the Empire's new hope. Then there's New York. Both the Knicks and the Nets could potentially emerge as players in the Giannis sweepstakes. The Knicks, with their resurging identity under coach Tom Thibodeau and a revitalized Madison Square Garden crowd, are hungry for a generational superstar to carry them back to the finals. They have draft capital, depth, and the patience of a franchise finally thinking long-term. The Brooklyn Nets, meanwhile, still bear the scars of their recent failed super team, but they're in a rebuilding phase that could fast-track with a player like Giannis. Brooklyn offers proximity to a massive market, no pressure of historic legacy, and an ownership group willing to spend. Miami, culture, legacy, and championship DNA. And then there's Miami, a franchise that thrives in stealth mode. The Heat don't always make the most noise in the media, but when they strike hard. From acquiring Jimmy Butler to luring LeBron and Bosh in 2010, Pat Riley's front office is always lurking, waiting for the right moment. Giannis could be the next major coup. Their famed Heat culture, focused on discipline, defense, and elite conditioning, might appeal to Giannis' own work ethic and values. But regardless of destination, the Giannis sweepstakes are bigger than just basketball. We're entering a new age of player empowerment, one where stars are no longer bound by loyalty to franchises that fail to match their ambition. Giannis, once the poster child for staying the course, now embodies the modern superstar's dilemma. Stay and fight or leave and rise higher. There are no villains here, only choices. Giannis has given everything to Milwaukee. He brought them a title, restored their relevance, and stayed when many expected him to walk. If he decides to seek new challenges, few would blame him. But where he goes, and how, will have massive ripple effects across the NBA. The summer of stars is upon us. With the new CBA creating tighter financial margins, front offices will be forced to choose between spending and strategy. The days of casually forming big threes may be over, but elite talent will always move. And when it does, everything changes. Teams are preparing. Agents are networking. Executives are calculating. And somewhere in all of this, Giannis Antetokounmpo is quietly evaluating his future, aware that every decision he makes will shape the league's balance of power for years to come. So the question remains, where will Giannis go? Will he chase the lights of Hollywood, build an empire in New York, embrace the fire of Miami, or stay loyal to the city that raised him? One thing is certain, the NBA is never still. And this summer the storm is coming.